What's up, YouTube? This is Galaxy Stream here with Yellow Thunder behind me. We are giving you a special video tonight. We weren't planning on making anything. It was just kind of me and him testing strategies and deck theories off of my Buenas Frogs build. Planning on taking this to an event in the next couple weeks or so, trying to get it all tweaked out. But we had a really good match with Wanna Buy a Toaster. And I love his name, by the way. And good amount of experience. You can see 3,000, almost 4,000 in the experience, so relatively decent high for dueling book standards. He was playing Zefra, as you're well aware of if you're paying attention. Zefra just took top 4 last weekend, or this last weekend here in the YCS over in Europe, the one where the World Chalice took first place. So I did expect to maybe see a couple World Chalices or Zefras for people trying to see if it'll work for them. He played it very well, but this is just overall a fantastic just match in general. So I really wanted to get this uploaded and commentate it for you guys. So you're going to hear me, you're going to hear Kaz, Yellow Thunder in the back. We're going to pop in every once in a while, kind of demonstrate the ideas, the plays, the mindset. If you've watched the last one we did, I got pretty good reviews on it, where we kind of want to keep doing this. We will be doing it with other decks, but tonight was just, you know, this was the night for me to work with a build that I wanted to test and ratios I wanted to test. So this just happens to be Buenas Frogs again. This will be a 40 card version. And little side note, this did go completely undefeated the last 2.5 hours. I think we played 8-9 games?
8 or 9.
8 or 9 matches. Not games, full matches.
Swift 2-0ing most of them.
A lot of them 2-0ing. Granted, dueling book, there are some people who really shouldn't be in the ranked section, but a lot of them were actual good duels. So if you want to see those duels as well, comment, like, subscribe, hit the notification button, and we'll post those up and we'll replay those for you too. But let's get right into it. So, of course, rock, paper, scissors right off the bat. I did win, so of course I'm going to go first. And you're going to see a little bit of witty banter on the side. We definitely was a good all-around...
Is that like Woody Allen?
Kind of Woody Allen. Just all-around good banter. So, right off the bat, I opened up both Blue Boy and Swap Frog, along with 2 Paleo Traps and a Solemn Strike. The first thing that goes into my head on this idea is I've got the swap already, and I can go into a Totally Awesome immediately by pitching the Blue Boy and then normal summoning the Swap Frog after bouncing it back. Now, the reason I decided not to do this is with Ash being such a prevalent thing, and Ghost Ogre being so prevalent, I don't want to lose either of those cards to 1. So, and I understand, I say a lot, so you're going to hear this a lot. I didn't want to lose 2 cards to the price of 1 potentially, so if I got Ash Blossomed off the pitch, then I only have the 1 card, the 1 follow-up. It's not going to be the most best optimal play in my mind, especially with me having Solemn Strike and kind of Disruption cards. So I decided to go with I'm going to risk trying to draw into another water monster. Because if I can get into another frog, that's a toad and an additional back row card. So I decided to go into Blue Boy for the +2. Plus this would also bait out the potential Ash on the knowledge. And as most of you guys know, it is not a cost to send for the knowledge, so I would actually still keep the monster and keep that advantage for the most part. This is where I find out he was playing Zefra. I have not played a lot with Zefra, so I wanted to kind of get myself, I was reading a lot of cards, so this is why I just fast forward. I was able to make the code on turn 2. This was really fun. So he went for the Ghost Ogre on my Totally Awesome, which he was right. I was going to trigger that to take it so I can get my Dupe Frog. He had the Cyphering Gamma in hand. Really, kind of didn't expect that, but I did open up the 1 strike and drew into a 2nd strike. So being able to get the Dupe Frog on forward and take his Ghost Ogre was a no-brainer play. So you're going to see us kind of get this all resolved, summon out. So I get my Frog on the field, I get his Ghost Ogre, and I'll get my Swap Frog back to my hand. a pretty good commanding lead on that one in card advantage, but, you know, Dark Worm is a really good card that gets him into it. I'm able to book a moon. He forgets completely about Duke Frog's effect and scoops it up, goes to game 2. Game 2, I open up the evenly match and Twin Twisters. I'm in a good sense of my mind, but he plays this really, really well. You're going to see that he sets up, gets his 9 pillars, sets 2 back row. I'm thinking we're good. Get rid of my Paleo, so I get that set up. Go right into the evenly match. I'm thinking I'm in a pretty good position. We're going to be 3 to 4. My 1 set card being the Dupe Frog. Get this out. He evenly matches me again. That actually hurts more than I thought it would. Because now I don't get a draw, and he was able to kind of bring all this stuff back. And this is where we both kind of do a misplay. He ends up finishing on this Electromite with the 1 strike. I upstart. I end up drawing another frog, and I should have made Toad. I realized my mistake after I did it, and when he showed me the cosmic, I screwed it up. But this is the game that was the most influential reason why we decided to do this video. This hand is to a Paleo player, to a Frog player, to a Boy and His Frogs player.
To any player, almost. You can just kind of like spectate this hand and understand how horrible it is.
This is
the brick. This is Monarch 2.0. This is the brick house.
This is probably the most brick, terrible hand that Paleo can open. For the reasons of Ronin does nothing. Spellbook Knowledge, I have no targets for it. It is completely dead. It is the one dead card you never want to see. Dimensional Barrier, I mean, it's a solid stun card, but he's still going to be able to do something, and it doesn't do anything. Mind Crush, I mean, with as much as his deck searches and the amount, like it really does, Mind Crush was initially cited in for the fact of it's going to counteract evenly matched. But, I mean, it still has other offensive purposes against this deck. Pot of Desires is the only hand saving grace, but with Ash running around so prevalent, this is, like, in my mind, I'm probably going to neg 11 right here. But we'll go ahead and into the game. Cross my fingers, and he gives me the thumbs up on the Desires. So
Swapping secrets, dog.
Very excited. So I'm hoping to see. I checked my banished. I did hit one of every frog was banished, but not terrible. Secrets was banished. I believe one of the blue boys was banished. I ended up drawing into evenly match and strike. So this hand now is still nothing fantastic. The evenly match makes me breathe a little bit better. Now I will mention that the evenly matched was actually accidentally left in. I don't normally keep my evenly matched in when I'm going first because it's a completely dead card. It's not comboing me anything. So in my mind, when I saw this, Kaz was right next to me and he saw my reaction. He's like, "Oh, cool, you got evenly matched." I'm like, "This could have been Swap Frog. Like this could have been any other card in my deck that can do something." But instead, I forgot that I took other better pieces out or more dead cards, and evenly matches kind of snuck in there. But we digress. So I set the Ronin Totem, I set the Barrier, I'm going to set the Mind Crush, I'm going to set the Strike. And I'm going to pass turn. He goes Terraforming, Oracle, Zefra. I know how good that card was, so I immediately Mind Crush it. He actually has another Terraforming in his hand. So my play did absolutely nothing, which furthered the fact that I thought, like, I am losing this game right now. With no doubt in my mind, I am losing this game. So he goes to his Pendulum Summon. I strike it off. He then does his Zefra Summon, goes into Tornado Dragon. I was able to survive the turn. I was happy. I said it. I got lucky. He hit the Knowledge, so it actually served a purpose. He then paid the 1,000. I was able to get rid of one of his scales. And actually was able to just survive a turn. Duke Frog gets drawn. Probably the best top deck. He's going to finally swing into it. Gets me a Swap Frog. From here, we thought a lot about what we wanted to do. We decided we're gonna go with the Totally Awesome instead of trying to play into the Evenly Matched, because I felt like getting the board presence was more important, and it turns out I was right. So now it comes down to what I'm going to use my Totally Awesome. It's a Mind Crush I drew. I'm gonna hit the 9 pillars, get the monster out, and the Toad stuck. So I'm getting all the free summons off of it. I was able to go into double Toad at 2,700 to swing over. He attempts his effect, I don't know why, so I negate and take. Gets a Swap Frog back. 19 over his Dark Worm, and then 2,700 direct. Now with the strike in hand, and this is where the next play was. So this is also why you play the Link version of A Boy and His Frogs. Why I, myself, Kazdan, and everyone else on my team believe that this version, the Scapegoat Link version, is the more beneficial plays, because if you played the normal version of A Boy and His Frogs, you're going into one other Exceed monster, which at this moment I have all 3 Toads in circulation. Otherwise that could have been an option. But when I Mind Crushed him, the 2 of his cards in his hand that I remember are Cosmic Cyclone and Ash Blossom.
And he had Destrudo.
And Destrudo, thank you. Destrudo was the 3rd one. So I knew this strike was going to be really important. So I go into Decode Talker, utilizing the fact that I stole his monster, and then was going to be able to now banish another frog out of my graveyard to bring Rodent Totem back out. So now I have potential 2 negates on targets, and the Totally Awesome negate over in the corner with strike. So I potentially have up to 4 negates, and then the Evenly Matched in my hand if the board gets wiped out. But this is actually turns into probably, I believe it's the last turn of play now. He activates Zefra effect. He's going to send another 6-star Pendulums. I get the 2 on that. And then from there, he does scoop it up. He did try to do the Destrudo play and continue on, but honestly, after that, it was going to be a negate with Toad. And he can't target anything with Yazi either. So it was overall just a really, really good match. The fact that this deck was able to pull that out from that opening hand, I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is Galaxy Stream and Yellow Thunder behind me, and we're gonna send it away, guys.